What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and here we are once again to sort a couple of biology questions. For those who do not know me, my name is Gautama and I am a biology teacher, and also I'm willing to attempt the IMAT this year. So I have been doing a lot of mock tests, and particularly interesting about the biology section. As you guys know, it's the majority part of the exam are the biology questions, and I think it's important for us all to master and understand how can IMAT ask and what do they want you to know. Okay, so the questions I'm bringing here today, they haven't been used by IMAT. They're mock questions, so it's going to be very good for us to explore and understand. Once again, I'm going to ask you to try it yourself first, pause the video, take a look at the options, and after that, let's sort them together, and I'll try my best to explain whatever is missing out from your understanding. Also, if you have any questions yourself, a little list that you are a bit confused and you want someone to take a look, just reach out. Let's help each other. I might make a video, or I might just reply directly to you. Alright, so let's go. Just a quick review. Once again, these are the key topics that IMAT usually ask on their questions. The majority will always be cell biology, so they have some kind of a fetish with cell biology, so you're going to be seeing a lot of these questions, but it's also important to have a good understanding about physiology, genetics, cell division, transport mechanisms, and who knows, ecology as well. Okay, so let's go into it. Question 11. Remembering this is the second part of a video that I'm attempting to cover 100 unseen biology questions. So this is the one, number 11. So this one says, what is the primary reason why pH is controlled so tightly in humans? So as you know, our body always try to maintain a pH depending on the situation. Our blood, for example, has a specific pH. Our stomach, our intestine, everything is very tightly controlled. Okay, but why is that? That's what a question want us to understand. So letter A, to allow rapid protein synthesis. Well, the pH doesn't really have to do with the synthesis of the proteins. It involves and has impact on proteins, but not necessarily with the prediction. So that is not what we're looking for. Letter B, to allow for effective digestion throughout the GI tract. So it is important to have a pH tightly controlled so we can have an effective digestion, but that is not the primary reason. Okay, this is just a consequence. We're looking for the main reason. Letter C, to ensure that ions can function properly in neutral signaling. So we're talking about signaling problem, we're talking about nerve systems, so it's not what we're looking for. Let's move forward. Letter D, to prevent changes in the electrical charge in polypeptide chains. Alright, I think we're close. I think that's what we're looking for. Let's read once again. To prevent changes in electrical charge in polypeptide chains. What are these polypeptide chains? What a name. Polypeptide chains basically are the proteins. Okay, so we don't want to have any electrical charge changings going on these proteins, because as you guys know, most of these proteins are going to form enzymes, and the enzymes are super important for different processes in our body. So if you have functional or electrical charge difference in our body due to the pH difference, so you're going to make you're going to release more ions into our body, that can affect the function of the enzymes, and then of course it can affect our digestion, it can affect our hormone process. So basically that's what we're looking for. Letter D, it is the answer. Let's just check out why the letter E is not correct. To prevent change in core body temperature. It could be related, but that's not the reason. So letter D, it is our question. Question 12. Which of the following statements are correct regarding bacterial cell walls? So They always like to talk about bacterial cells and want us to understand what is the um, need of that. Why is it so important? So let's check the options here. We have three statements and let's value each one of them. It confirms bacteria protection against external environment stimuli. So yeah, basically that's what a wall does, right? Like in life, the walls in our house protect us from the outside. It wouldn't be different with bacteria. So, especially when it comes up to bacteria that are cell, it's a whole being just built by one cell. It's important to have this protection because again, especially osmosis process. So the one is absolutely correct. The second statement says it is an evolutionary remnant and now has little function significance in most bacteria. Well, if it had no relevance, probably we would find bacteria without these cell walls. It wouldn't be necessary. It might even be not good for them. But of course, that's not the case. Of course, it does have a purpose. It has a meaning. It has a important role in the bacteria. So this is absolutely incorrect. And the third statement says it is made of primarily glucose and bacteria. Now this can be a tricky one because we often forget to think about what is that wall made of. You could think, oh, cellulose. No, that's plants. Plants also have wall protection, but that's plants. Oh, it's made out of chitin. No, that's fungus. They also have cell walls, but that's not the case. But what is the primarily product that makes the bacteria's wall? It's going to be a glycoprotein. So we're going to have glucose, not glucose itself, but we're going to have a type of sugar, but it's going to be combined with protein. So we call it glycoprotein cell wall. Okay, so that's why the third option is not correct. So the only option that we have here available is the one. So letter A. That's it. 13. Which of the following statements are correct regarding mitosis? So once again, knowing about mitosis and meiosis are like the goal, the key for answering correctly at least 2 or 3 questions in any edition of the IMAT. I can assure you that this IMAT will have at least 2 or 3 questions about mitosis or meiosis. So it's very important to have it clear in your mind. Let's take a look about these statements and let's try to figure out which ones are correct. The first one, it is important in sexual reproduction. Well, is it, or meiosis is important for the sexual reproduction? I think they're trying to trick us with that. So that's not correct. Mitosis is not important for sexual reproduction. The sexual reproduction is implied in cell device, but through a different process that is called meiosis. So, nope. Second, a single round of mitosis results into the formation of 2 genetically distinct daughter cells. It was all right. It was going so well, but then he came up with the word distinct. So now one cell, when they split, it's a mitosis. So it's gonna generate another cell exactly like the other one. So it's not gonna be distinct. It's gonna be equal, exactly the same. So statement 2, not right. The third statement, let's hope that's right because come on. Mitosis is vital for tissue growth, as it is the basis for cell multiplication. Perfect, absolutely correct. So, as you're growing, as any being growing, the mitosis is very important because it's going to be multiplying, it's going to be making the individual grow. Even when you're an adult, for example, they used to say that after 7 years, all of your cells in your body changed, because a big part of them are dead and you have a new generation coming on. And how does that happen? Through mitosis process. Okay, so third one is the only one we have. Let's look at the options. That's letter C. Is it? It's letter C. Grant. Question 14. Which of the following is the best definition of mutation? Okay, so remember, mutation is also a topic that I might like to talk about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there would be one question this year. So keep an eye on this topic and make sure you understand fully the consequences and even when it comes up to biotechnology process of mutation. So, but we just want to try to find the best definition for it. So, letter A, a mutation is a permanent change in DNA. That's correct. A mutation is a permanent. You can't, once it's done, you can't undo it. Okay? The cell has mechanisms to try to repair, but then it's not a mutation. Okay? A mutation, it's configured as a mutation when the thing is done and that's it. The other cell already has the same characteristics after mitosis. So it's a permanent change in the DNA. Okay, but I would say this is incomplete because it can also be a permanent change in RNA. Okay, so we see this all the time when it comes up to bacteria. The SARS-CoV-2, the virus that was spreading during the pandemic situation, it was the RNA virus. And it's so complicated, these viruses, because they can mutate so fast. That's why usually virus that has RNA, the vaccine has to be updated very quickly compared to virus that has DNA. Okay, so but let's put this in standby. Let's check the other options. Let's see if we find something more accurate and complete. What is the best definition? That's what we're looking for. B, a mutation is a permanent change in the DNA that is harmful to the organism. Yes and no. That's not necessarily it's gonna lead into a harmful situation. We have mutations all the time, and it's important to remember, this is a key topic to remember, is that our DNA, it is degenerate, which means that with different nitrogen bases, you can form with different amino acids, for example. Okay, so you can have a different arrangement of a carbon, a different arrangements of bases, nitrogen bases, and still have the same protein. Okay, that's because it's degenerated. So you have different possibilities that result to the same result. Okay, so sometimes mutation does nothing to the body, or sometimes it does something that is really good, that is gonna give him a better an advantage. And in this case, it's going to perpetuate. That mutation is going to go beyond. Okay, so the mutation is so important for the evolution. For example, we only are the way we are because we had a lot of successful mutations along our biological history. Okay, so get this idea out of your head that is something harmful, that is something that is going to be bad and it's going to kill you. Okay, it can, but it's not only that. Okay, letter C says a mutation is a permanent change in the structure of an intracellular organelle caused by changes in DNA and RNA. No, it doesn't have to do with the structure of an intracellular. It could lead to that. Okay, like a mutation in the DNA could lead to a bad function of a protein that could impact the organelle in that cells. But that's not the best definition. Okay, that's not the definition of mutation. Letter D. A mutation is a permanent change in a chromosome structure caused by DNA or RNA changes. So once again, we're given a generic definition about mutation, and it's not strict to the chromosome. Okay, we gotta remember that virus, for example, can be influenced by mutations, and they do not have chromosome. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. In letter E, a mutation is a cancer-causing change in DNA or RNA. Yes, mutation can cause cancer, but that's not a rule. Okay, it's not going to be like this all the time. And by the way, one mutation hardly leads to a cancer. A cancer usually happens due to several mutations. Okay, you're not going to see a cancer that has happened because of one mistake of replication in the cell. Okay, that is very rare, and I personally think, I didn't take the time to search, but I don't think there's a case of a patient with a cancer because of one particular mutation. Okay, so that leads us to the letter A. That's what we have. That's the best definition we have. But remember that that can also happen with RNA. Question 15. In relation to mutations, which of the following are correct? Okay, once again, we have mutations. 1. Mutations always leads to discernible changes in the phenotype of an organism. So remember, phenotype is what we see. So if you have a mutation, will that lead to some characteristic, some feature, some trace visually? Yes or no? It depends. So be very careful with the statements that has always, only, never. Statements that are strong like this, they usually tend to be wrong. Okay, because once again, biology always have exceptions. But in this case, it's very clear that that's not the case. We have mutations, for example, that will have no impact in the phenotype, only in the genotype of a being, and we have mutations that won't do a thing, won't change a genotype, it won't change a phenotype, because once again, it's important to remember that the DNA is degenerated, so it can lead to the same results depending on how was the arrangement. I can try to explain this a little bit better. If this was not clear, I can bring a slide and we can just talk about it more theoretically together, okay? So, second statement, mutations are essential to natural process such as evolution. Perfect, beautiful. That's how it is. It's hard to talk about evolution without talking about mutations. Okay, so the evolution it relies a lot on the mutations process and successful mutations. Okay, so let's go to the last statement. Mutations plays a role in cancer. That's true. Okay, it plays a role in cancer. It means that it will always lead to cancer. No, but when we're talking about cancer, usually it's because of several mutations that cell or that tissue have gone through it. You know, when talking about lung cancer, for example, it's probably related to, not probably, it's definitely related to smoking, for example, because that will harm your cells and that will make your body a huge effort to try to replicate and try to make new cells in a high speed, and that could potentially lead, more probabilistically talking, to mutations, okay, and eventually into cancer. That's a very base and simple definition or explanation about the process, but it usually goes like this, okay? So that leads us to 2 and 3. That's the two statements that are correct. 16. Which of the following is the most accurate definition of antibody? Okay, antibody, we're talking about immunology, okay? Immunology. So, an antibody is a molecule that protects the red blood cells from changes in the pH. Okay, there's a lot of things going on here, and none of them are correct. The antibody has nothing to do with the pH. Okay, not directly. There's nothing that you can correlate and try to find a solution for it. And the blood cells also is far from being what we're talking about. Yeah, maybe the leukocytes, maybe the white cells, blood cells. Yeah, but we're talking about the statement here talks about the red blood cells. So completely wrong. B, an antibody. It's a molecule produced only by humans and has a pivotal role in the immune system. No, well, we have another. We have so many animals out there, and they also has a very similar system as ours. If you, for example, are in the jungle and for some reason you're bitten by a snake, you need a serum, you know, and the way they're gonna produce this in a big amount is using animals. It's very common to use horses, for example. They infect that horse with that poison, but for us it could be a lot, but for an animal at that size, it won't represent a thing. He won't even get any reaction, but his body will produce a lot of anticorps. So they extract that plasma from his blood, and they just put it into you. So other animals can produce antibodies. All right. Letter C. An antibody is a toxin produced by a pathogen to damage the host organism. No, it's not a toxin, and they're trying to mix with an antigen. Okay, this is the mix that they're trying to to trick you into it. But the antibody is the completely opposite. Okay, let's check the other options here. Letter D, the antibody is a molecule that is used by the immune system to identify and neutralize foreign objects and molecules. Perfect. This is the definition we're looking for. So it's all about the immune system trying to identify and flag to the cell that something here doesn't belong here, so let's do something about it. Okay, so they're going to be the sign. And letter E, why is it wrong? The antibody are small proteins found in red blood cells. Once again, red blood cells. Come on, guys, let's just move on. Letter Z is what we're looking for. And we're almost there. Question 17. Which of the following statement is true? There's more energy and biomass each time you move up a trophic level. Okay, so this is an ecologic question. And you guys are going to check out that this is very simple and easy, straightforward to answer. The ecologic questions, they are easy. They're not going to request too much from you. So we're talking about trophic levels. Okay, so we're going to have the base, the producers, okay, plants, algae, and all these other autotrophs organisms. And then we're going to have the primary consumers, the secondary, and the third, and then the fourth. So we have a little ladder. Okay, so they're saying there's more energy and biomass each time we move up a trophic level. Absolutely not. As up as we go, as low as the biomass and as low as the energy. Okay, there's less energy and biomass each time you move up a trophic level. Okay, that seems reasonable. Let's check the other ones. There's more energy but less biomass each time you move up. No, there's no more energy when you go up. There's less energy. That's why, for example, predators that have to eat a lot of their what they're hunting. Okay, not only one. So there's more energy but less biomass, and each time, no, letter D, there's less energy but more biomass each time. There's no biomass, there's less biomass when you move up the trophic level. There's no difference in the energy or biomass when you move up a trophic level. Okay, so that's basically not correct. The statement B is what we're looking for. Okay, so question 18, which of the following statements about the kidney are correct? Okay, so statement 1, the kidney filter the blood and remove the waste products from the body. That's the classic definition about the kidney. That's basically like the first statement you write in your notebook when you're studying the kidney. Okay, the physiology of the kidney. So no mysterious, nothing to worry about. This is absolutely correct. Second, the kidney are involved in the digestion of food. No, we're talking about two different systems here. Okay, we have the digestion system, then we have the kidney, the circular kidney. It could be related to the circular system, but nothing to do with the digest one. Okay. 3, in healthy individuals, the kidney produce urine that contains high level of glucose. Oh my God! If your pee has high level of glucose, there's something wrong. Okay, because that's not supposed to happen. The glucose is so important for our body, and so they stock it. Okay, the only way that this could happen is that if you're having some kind of problem with your insulin. Okay, your cells are not able to put these glucose inside the cells, so naturally they're just going to go outside your body. So that's not a healthy individual. That's an individual that needs some careful attention. Okay, there's even a saying, I don't know if it's true or not, but I remember my grandparents saying that if there's too many ants in your bathroom, it's probably because you have diabetes, and you should be aware of it and take action because theoretically your pee would have a lot of glucose, and the ants will go after it. It's weird, disgusting, okay, but that's what they say. So what do we have here? Only the first statement is correct. Okay, let's go. Almost there. Question 19. Which of the following statements are correct? So we're just playing with the same things here. Hormones are slower acting than nerves. Is it? Yeah, that's correct. They're slower acting. Usually, it takes a little bit more time to have a body reaction than with nerves. Nerves are talking about, we're doing things. I think about moving my arm. Here it is. I'm thinking about closing my eyes. Here it is. My heart is beating because of an electron sign, you know? But compared to hormones, hormones usually takes a little while, but they last a lot longer, okay? The nerve system, no. Once I put my arm down, that's it. The movement, it's done. Once my heart start beating, that's it. Start beating. It's not gonna continue beating. Hormones act for short time, so no. We're gonna talk about this. So they have a longer effect. Hormones act more generally than nerves. That's true. You usually have hormones working in a generally way. So we have different hormones for different situations. So it's very general, the way that the hormones act compared to the nerves. So statement 3 is correct as well. And hormones are released when you get scared. That's correct. When you get scared, you're gonna have a rush of hormones in your body that you don't know what is going on. You don't know if you need to fight or you need to flee. That's absolutely correct. You're gonna have hormones going on through your system, and to like, you can see that this makes sense that the hormones, they act for a long time. That even after the scare, you're still gonna have the feeling. Your heart's gonna still be beating very fast. Your breathing is gonna be very hard. Even after the scare, even you realize, oh, it was just your stupid friend, you know. But that's because hormones, they have a longer acting in your body. Okay, so what are the options we have here correct? The first one and the third one. Is that correct? And the fourth one, yes, absolutely. And 20 and last question for today. What statement about homeostasis are correct? Okay, homeostasis. A lot of people sometimes just forget about this. It's not important, but it plays a huge role when we're talking about physiology. Okay, so what is the best? Which statement are correct here? Homeostasis is about ensuring that the inputs with your body exceed the outputs to maintain a constant internal environment. Inputs and outputs, one exceeding the other. No, actually, homeostasis has all to do with a balance. Okay, so that's not correct. Homeostasis is about ensuring that inputs and within your body are less than the outputs to maintain the constant internal environment. That's also not correct. Once again, the homeostasis is about balancing the inputs and the outputs, okay, depending on the situation. So we can't set a rule saying that is to ensure that inputs will have a less impact than the outputs, okay? And the third, homeostasis is about balancing the inputs with your body with the outputs. Perfect, that's correct. To ensure your body fluctuates with the needs of the external environment. Okay, this last part just made this statement wrong. Okay, because the external environment doesn't matter. That's not what I'm worried about it. Okay, I need to maintain my inside environment constant. I don't care about the needs of the outside. If it's cold outside, I want to keep it warm. Okay, so that's wrong. Let's check the fourth. The homeostasis is about balancing the inputs with your body with the outputs. Perfect. To maintain a constant internal environment. Absolutely, that's what we want. We want to have our own internal environment on the way it should be. Okay, otherwise we would be a lizard. You know, if it's cold outside, we're going to be cold. If it's hot outside, we're going to be hot. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what homeostasis does with our body. Okay, so this leads us to the fourth statement as being correct. Guys, that's what I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any question, don't be afraid to reach out. Just send me a message, a direct or something. Drop a comment below. Leave it a like, share, subscribe, and well, I think that's all. Let's make this channel grow, guys. Once again, I'm here to help, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.